for any retriever puppy, the instinct to chase an object and hopefully bring it back. As the puppy matures, so do the instincts, and the very best puppies will be trained to become hunters, champions, and maybe even grand champions.
From Rend Lake, Illinois, welcome to the Outdoor Life Network's coverage of the HRC International Fall Grand. This is just a test. This is only a test. Do not attempt to adjust your TV because this is a test. Hi everyone, I'm Tim Singer here at beautiful Rend Lake, and this is, in fact, nothing but a test. What you're seeing here will not be a competition. It will be a test of the finest retriever dogs in North America. This stuff will impress you, it will amaze you, but no winner will be crowned. There is no runner-up. In fact, no championship will be awarded because every dog that's here is already a champion. What these dogs will be vying for is the coveted title of Grand Champion, and to attain that level, they must pass 5 very tough tests.
The final test is the upland, which measures a dog's ability to both locate and flush a bird before retrieving it. Of course, the dogs have to pass each of the first 4 tests to even make it to the upland. During the callback session after each test, the tensions are high because the stakes are very high.
The HRC organization is a great organization in the fact that we're all out here because we love to hunt and we love our dogs. And I think that carries even to another level when you get to this stakes, the Grand, because, you know, everybody wants the dogs to do well. It's not a competition, and we're out here for the dogs, and I mean, you're pulling for every dog, and your heart goes out to every dog because we know the hours that it went in and the blood, sweat, and tears that's went into this.
There's literally hundreds of hours that go into bringing a dog to this level. And I came up a week early, and I've been here on the grounds for a week training with a lot of the pros, getting ready, trying to find different terrains, train in the cornfields, train in the water here, and get the dogs used to this area. But it goes back months and, in fact, years to get here.
It's taken me a long time to get up the nerve or get up the practice or whatever you want to call it to be able to run the Grand. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of pressure, a lot to think about, put it all in perspective.
This year is real tough. It's been a lot of fun, but it's real tough.
You know, when you work at it this hard, it's our Super Bowl. You know, it really is. It's our Super Bowl.
For these people, this is their Olympics. This is their Olympics. When they pass this, that's, you know, the utmost for them.
The biggest hunting retriever event of the year gets underway when we return.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Monte Carlo. Green. The side you should own is up to you.
Dr. Scholl's next stop, New Orleans.
So how do your feet feel?
That's pain. Well, this is our new Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insole. It's like a spring.
The massaging wave system gives you more cushioning than regular gel ever could before.
It relieves tension in your feet.
It feels like it's massaging the foot.
Dr. Scholl's, treat yourself right.
Let's have chocolate milk with Hershey's syrup.
Dad, Hershey's is out.
We switched to chocolate Ovaltine.
Why?
Ovaltine's better for you. It has vitamins and minerals. Hershey's doesn't.
And it tastes great.
Mmm.
More Ovaltine, please.
We get really dry skin.
Dry, itchy skin.
For dry, itchy skin, these non-medicated moisturizers all fall short of new Gold Bond medicated body lotion. Triple action Gold Bond moisturizes, protects, and stops itch. New Gold Bond medicated body lotion. More than a moisturizer, it's medicated.
Did you know vegetables lower cancer risks? Allergies affect 40 to 50 million Americans. Want to know more? Tea doubles chances of conception. Fiber protects women against heart disease. The Health Network has all the health news, information, and answers you're looking for. To get the Health Network, call your local cable operator or satellite provider.
You know, ideas and inventions come from people in all walks of life. And most of the century's top inventions came from individuals, not companies. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? Are you interested in trying to submit your idea to companies for a good faith review and in trying to patent it as well? If so, Invention Submission Corporation has information to help you get started. ISC is America's largest inventor service firm with over 50 offices nationwide. Call this toll-free number now to see how to get this free information. The information includes forms to assure confidentiality, a form to record and date your idea, plus an informative brochure that explains how to submit your idea to companies through ISC's data bank and how to apply for a patent. Even if you only have an idea for improving an existing product, you'll want to call now for ISC's free information.
For your free information, call Invention Submission Corporation at 1-888-561-IDEA. That's 1-888-561-IDEA.
It is the hunter's time of day, and right now I'd like to introduce my hunting partner, a former chairman of the Grand Hunt Committee, John Klump.
Thank you, Tim. This is a very exciting part of the whole hunt. The handlers that are showing up now are going to test number 3, a very difficult water test.
And with the water comes some very tough conditions.
We'll look for the sun, where it's going to come into the site, where the wind is going to be, for things like on the blind, so that we're not running into the wind, so that the dogs will have either a crosswind or a wind at their back when they're running the blind. For the marks, we're looking for basically a wind that's going away from the mark, so that the dogs will actually have to mark the bird, go to the area of the fall, and pick it up on their own without aid from the wind. If the wind's a crosswind on the marks, then you'll actually see the dog working to the opposite side of the mark and work himself into the bird.
This is a simulated duck test. In this test, 3 birds will be thrown to simulate ducks falling. The first one close to the handler in the water, the second one on the far side on the bank, and the third one into the water straight away. The dog will be able to pick those ducks up in any order. As the handler shoots those birds, you'll notice that the dog marks off the gun barrel to the bird that falls.
And this particular dog in the test is South Hill's Second Chance, known as Deuce, with handler John Riggle.
And notice as the dog comes back in, the dog comes in with style. As he comes in, a diversion bird is thrown. The dog has to return the bird that it picked up, also mark the diversion bird that fell in the water, and remember where that bird is.
In fact, it's a major penalty if the dog goes for the diversion when it's returning with the designated duck.
That's correct. If it switches, drops the bird it's returning with, and picks up the diversion bird, it fails the test. The dog's now moving out to its second bird, and one of the phenomenal things that the dogs in this series must be able to do is remember multiple marks. Memory is really challenged, particularly when there's a crosswind in the water that moves the bird from where it originally fell to where the dog finds it. The final mark is a blind mark, and only the handler knows where that bird is. The dog has to be handled with whistle and hand signals to that bird.
And it is very difficult, especially in these conditions.
It's one of the tougher water tests you're going to see because of the left to right wind that we had on the blind. We had some wakes on the water once in a while. You know, you see them breaking off out there where the dog has to be cast left into the wind and into the water and out to sea. The blind turned out to be the most challenging part of this test for most of the dogs. The blind's basically an A to B type thing. You start at point A and you're trying to go as close as you can to point B without deviating from that line. So as the dog's pushed by the wind or whatever, you're trying to put him back on line, and most of the time the difficulty is getting him to fight the elements to get back on line and go to the blind.
Traveling down here to Illinois from Ontario, Canada, this is handler Brian Check and his 5-year-old Chesapeake Bay Retriever, Zoe. Interesting story, John, with the Chesapeake.
Yeah, the Chesapeake is an unusual dog. They mature a little bit later. They're a little harder to train, but look at the drive and style it has. That's one of the real advantages to a Chesapeake.
As a result, there has only been one past Chesapeake Retriever Grand Champion in the history of the Hunting Retriever Club. Mostly labs, a few Goldens, but this could be a big moment for this Chess.
It really could, and this Chesapeake is right on target. He's using his nose. You can see his nose intently up. He's looking. The handler hasn't had to blow a whistle. The dog is on his own and doing a wonderful job right now. One of the real difficult things and challenges of this test are all the stumps and dead trees that are sticking up and many that are underwater. The dog has to be able to distinguish the difference between those and the ducks that it's trying to retrieve.
And we don't want to suggest that a dog cheats at this, but sometimes when it's not windy, they have a better advantage with smell, but they're really up against it here.
They are. A dog that's not downwind of the duck is at a tremendous disadvantage here. Being downwind and sniffing the bird certainly helps at this point. That's a diversion bird that's being thrown. The dog's marking it on the way back in. It will have to deliver this bird to hand and remember that mark and immediately go and pick it up.
Tremendous display of obedience, just sitting there waiting for the handler to take the bird. It knows it wants its next prey, and now it goes after it.
And look at the desire. It knew the bird was there and knew where it was going, and very intently did its work.
Now, throughout this and all tests, John, we will hear the ever-present whistle from the handler, and that's a very important component in this event.
That's correct. You'll actually hear two different whistles. One single blast of the whistle is universally a command for the dog to sit and look at the handler and take a command. You'll hear a come-in whistle, and probably as soon as this dog picks the bird up, you'll hear a come-in whistle from the handler telling the dog to come back in.
Now, this third mark, John, is one that ends up on the land, and it makes for an interesting scenario because the dog must go straight for it, but some dogs may choose to run around the water.
That's correct. The dogs that choose to run around put themselves at a disadvantage. Typically, this mark is called the memory mark. It's the one the dog has had to remember during all the other retrieves and still know that that bird is there. It challenges the memory of the dog to the greatest extent on this one.
A lot of land out there to see this dog try to chase it down, and you can see it's working.
It's working, and it's using its nose. It's one of the very wonderful characteristics about retrievers is the wonderful nose they have. If they're put in the right area, they can usually find the bird.
Well, they're not hounds, but as we've already displayed, they need scent, they need sight, they need hearing, and this is the toughest of all of the tests, the blind.
This is the blind. And on this one, the dog is working with his handler. This is where the partnership between dog and handler really comes into play. The dog must go on faith to a bird that it's not sure is really there. And you'll notice that as the handler whistles, the dog stops and waits for the command so that the handler can direct the dog to the bird that it's never seen. As long as the dog is taking a straight line and moving toward the bird, the handler won't direct the dog. When the dog deviates just a little and needs to be handled, the handler will blow the whistle once, the dog will look and be given direction from the handler to move toward the bird.
Now, throughout this event, the blind will be marked with orange ribbon. That's for the viewers and the spectators, but of course the dogs are colorblind and cannot pick that up.
That's correct, but without the orange, the handlers wouldn't know where to direct the dog. The dogs can't see it, but the handlers can, and that makes it a little bit easier for the handlers.
Closing in on it.
Notice that one whistle and the quick response from the dog.
Look at that. Right in the vicinity.
That's beautiful.
And a little
when the
by.
dog turned its head, you notice that it winded the bird. It knows the bird is over to its right.
There it is.
Right there.
Impressively performed by Zoe and handler Brian Scheck. Look at the dance, the jazz in his feet as he dances his way back to the handler.
One of the things the judges are always judging in this test in the Grand is style. This dog shows tremendous style. It enjoys its work. That's part of what this is all about.
We head to the field when we return.
This ordinary-looking bed is the key to a restful night's sleep. Even though it may look like an ordinary mattress, it's more comfortable than you could ever imagine. Introducing the Nautilus Sleep System. Nautilus uses variable support chambers designed to let you control the comfort on your side of the bed. Individual remote controls allow you to increase or decrease the firmness on your side of the bed, so you can have that feather soft feel and your spouse can get the extra firm support he or she has always wanted. Available features like a luxurious cashmere blend pillow top and our unique comfort layer make Nautilus the choice for a great night's sleep. It's time you feel the instant comfort of Nautilus with no money down and payments as low as $25 per month. Try Nautilus in your home. We guarantee the best sleep you've had in years. If you're not completely satisfied within 12 weeks, return it for a full refund of the purchase price. Call now for your free video and brochure. Discover instant comfort with the Nautilus Sleep System.
Go there. GreatOutdoors.com, where climbers lead online.
Do I smell a dog? When your fabrics and upholsteries smell bad, your whole room can smell. Now Clorox brings you a breakthrough. New Clorox Fresh Care Fabric Refresher with a patented ingredient that safely eliminates odors from fabrics, so your whole room smells clean.
The rug smells great. You still need a bath.
New Clorox Fresh Care. For your fabrics, it's a breath of fresh air.
It's a new parade to a new location. The retrievers and handlers are heading out to the field test at a field they have yet to see, but the judges have been busy setting things up, and the grand judge for this field competition will be Mike McElroy.
We're very happy that y'all made it this far, and we wish all of y'all again the very best of luck. Like I said, the last time we've discussed this test and we've gone over it several times. We all know what we're looking for here. The first bird will be a shot flyer, and it will come out of that blind right there, okay? It will come up, they will shoot it, and it will fall on the back side of that green cover right in there. The second bird will come out deep up on top of that hill, and it will land out there. You will swing around, and you will catch a third bird coming out of this blind right over here, and you will shoot it. That is your designated bird. It's the last bird down, first bird to be picked up. After that, you pick up your other two marks. After you pick up those marks, you come back and you run your blind at that orange stake down there. There's about another 20 to 30 yards back behind that stake. It's a good walk.
So the course is set in the faces of anticipation and close study as these handlers are taking a close look at the course. One handler of note, we will be following her story throughout this test, is Becky Lyons. She and her husband Barry have no less than 13 dogs on hand going for the grand champion status. But right now we pay attention to handler Bill Rath and his Labrador, Ish.
And look at that dog go with style and determination. And the memory part of it, the marking ability, is to go directly to the area of the fall and bring the bird back. What makes that especially difficult here is this field all looks the same. And the dog has to remember where those marks are in a field that really doesn't change.
Not to mention lots of high corn stalks all over the field, getting in the way of sight between the dog and the bird.
The nose is so important here. The dog goes to the area of the fall, then has to depend upon its nose to put him right on the bird.
Ish just 2.5 years old, already with 1 grand pass. You need to pass 2 grand tests in order to attain the title of hunting grand champion.
That's right, and it's the consistency over 2 grands and the consistency through 5 tests at any 1 grand that makes this so difficult for the retrievers.
Not only that, it isn't just grand when you want grand. There are only 2 events a year, so these dogs have to really train hard and work up to this very intensive weekend.
That's correct. All of these dogs are hunting retriever champions, and the training has to intensify almost 6 months at a time in order to get ready for the grand.
Well, Ish doing a great job in what is traditionally been one of the toughest marks, that 3rd mark, when, as you mentioned, the memory is not as quite sharp. Lastly, we have the blind, and the positioning here is always so important.
It is. The head and the spine of the dog will be lined up directly toward the blind by the handler, and then the dog has to take on faith that the handler's sending it to an area where it hasn't seen the bird. And as long as the dog goes straight again, the handler won't handle. The handler just gave a straight back, and look at the great back the dog took. The hand signals that the handler gives are indicative of where the dog is going to move. That was an over mark. Now the dog's not seeing the handler here do that.
You got to believe these dogs would win any obedience competition, the way they respond to their handlers.
That's correct. And notice the handler brought the dog back into sight so the dog could see the handler and then take the command. Very good handling on the part of the handler, a good response on the part of the dog.
And you're judging this, say, John, there is no time restraint. It's all just a matter of going straight for it, or at least making progress.
That's correct. The rule says the dog must make continuous progress to the blind. And there is no time limit. And there is no number of whistles that mandate when a dog passes or fails, as long as the dog is making progress.
And I love how the dog is always so happy. Once it's caught the bird, the tail is up, it's wagging. It is a proud retriever.
That's actually the reward for the dog. It's like giving a dog biscuit to your family pet.
It's in the hands of the judges now, but a seemingly successful round for Bill Rath and Ish. Much more to come when we return.
Wow.
Oh, check this out. I got a bulb, but this will last you 2 years. Guaranteed.
Cool. Philips, light bulbs that last.
Ask your dentist to recommend a toothpaste. Odds are it'll be Colgate Total. More dentists recommend Colgate Total than any leading toothpaste. So take your dentist's advice, unless this is your idea of relaxing. Colgate Total. It's toothpaste, only better.
This December on the Outdoor Life Network, FIS World Cup storms the slopes. Check out the latest face-offs and shakedowns. Then, get a portrait of war-torn Bosnia on an unforgettable kayaking adventure. Plus, crank up the volume with a new season of monstrous snowboarding. And find out how this year's Gotta Have gear is performing and where to get your hands on it. All December on OLN.
The couple that trains together stays together. This is Becky and Barry Lyons. They have 13 retrievers here at the Grand. And Becky Lyons right now competing with Kate on the field.
Notice how well Kate marked off the barrel of that gun for Becky, how it's taking a straight line to the bird that's fallen. Uses its nose, picks it up, and brings it quickly back.
Becky and Kate were among the first competitors in this particular test and obviously did not have the chance to witness some of the potential hazards on the course.
Well, it was difficult. I lost my dog, and she was going for her grand title, but and I ran early, and it was dark. I didn't really get a good look as to how the other dogs were doing, and maybe I would have had a better game plan if I had seen a little bit more, if it had been a little bit lighter. And her birds did not fall as well as others did. And so, you know, placement of birds and how they fall in the field makes a big difference. There's a lot of luck, a lot of hard work, a lot of training, and some luck.
So Becky is out of the competition. Doesn't mean she still can't root for her husband, Barry, who right now is handling Sarah, beautiful yellow lab.
Watch how Sarah marks off the barrel of that gun. Knows exactly where the birds fall so that when she scents, she can make a clean retrieve.
And we should note, and note very strong, that when you see those shots being fired, hey, this is a hunting competition, but it's not a hunt. Only blanks in the gun.
That's correct, but it does simulate a real hunt, and that's the one distinguishing factor with the Hunting Retriever Club. The handler and his dog work as a team and work as they would in a real hunting situation.
So close, yet so far. Finally, the excitement as the dog lands the bird, sprints on home. Barry Lyons and Sarah on their way to a passing grade as we pass back to the water. And I'll tell you, a lot of these handlers are nervous about any kind of test. The pressure really is felt by them.
Well, probably the biggest part of it is your emotions, controlling your emotions. You've got 3 dogs in, you're going to run your first dog. You're going to learn from each dog as far as the test and the conditions, how the dogs are reacting. But you're also going to have to go run that first dog. And whatever happened, good or bad, you have to leave that when you put the dog up and get the next dog, because at this level, what makes the Grand Hunting Retriever Champion title so special is that for 2 weeks in that dog's life, not only did he perform perfectly, but also the handler made every right decision, had some luck along the way. And so when we walk to the line with the dog, we have to be quick and make the right decisions.
And this is supposed to be fun, John.
It is fun, but it's hard to keep the emotions out of it, too. These handlers work so hard year-round with their dogs, and when either the handler makes a mistake or the dog makes a mistake, it's still heartbreaking, and there's no way to feel good about that.
As displayed there on the look on Jeff Hennard's face, the body language, as he and Hogan have a little bit of trouble communicating.
And yet, after this hunt is over, they'll both recognize they've done a great job together and that this is one wonderful hunting retriever dog.
And what makes it doubly tough is that Jeff is here as a small group, part of a small group of professional handlers. So not only does he feel let down personally, but he also feels like perhaps he let down the owners of that dog.
There's an uninvited member of the gallery.
And our next invited member, this is Laura Neens. And the name of the dog, Raging Bull. We'll see if it has some of the same aggressive tactics that the Raging Bull Jake LaMotta had.
Look at the intensity of that dog going for the mark. It's seen the bird fall, just can't wait to get there and make the retrieve.
And it gives us this opportunity to talk a little bit about not just intensity, but all of the criteria of judging.
What the judges are really looking for is good marking and memory. They're looking for a dog that has a good nose and knows how to use it. They're looking for a dog that has desire, style, and is under control at all times.
Let's break that down a little bit more, the desire and style specifically.
The desire to go and get the bird. The dogs are watching birds fall, and once they're sent to get the bird, that's part of what they're bred to do. It's part of the breeding program that HRC is all about. These dogs need to go with great desire and style to pick that bird up.
The style would just be simply how the dog carries itself, how it appears.
When you made mention earlier in a test of the dog picking a bird up, holding its tail up, looking proud, that's what style is really all about.
These dogs are bred to do it. It's instinct. Go after the bird and bring it on home. And they say, of course, that in mountain climbing, the easy part is getting up. The tough part is getting back down safely. And it's the same with dogs and prey. Sometimes dogs just like to go after the prey and then play.
Retrieving is natural. Dogs are bred to retrieve, to go and pick up a bird. They're not bred to bring the bird back. That's the training part. This is the part that's so difficult for the handlers, to bring the bird back as this one is doing now, sit and deliver it to its handler as it was trained to do.
Husband Daryl Neens watching intently as the dog makes it towards the blind.
Notice the reaction of the gallery. Everybody roots for everyone. Everybody is here for the same thing, to watch good dogs work and handlers and dogs work together.
Now there's 2 new ways to save all night long. Sprint Nickel Nights just got better, and you get to choose which way is best for you. Now, when you switch to Sprint Nickel Nights, you can choose to include that great 5 cents a minute rate on your calling card calls. Or you can choose that 5 cents a minute rate on calls to anywhere in Canada from home. Call 1-877-4-NIGHTS now and switch to Sprint. You'll get Sprint Nickel Nights plus your choice of either calling card calls or calls to Canada from home. It's Sprint's best rate at the time that's best for you. And now you can include calling card calls or calls to Canada from home. So no matter where you are, at home or with your calling card, you're free to talk the night away. Isn't that the point of contact? Switch to Sprint Nickel Nights and include your choice of calling card calls or calls to Canada from home. Call 1-877-4-NIGHTS now.
Call 1-800-OUTDOOR and tap into the inexhaustible natural resources of the Outdoor Life Network. Subscribe to our monthly program guide and surf the schedule for top-of-the-world adventures, gear-grinding events, liquid excitement, and wild experiences. Subscribe to the Outdoor Life Network's program guide. It's your direct connection to our energy-fueled lineup. Call 1-800-OUTDOOR today.
Tim Singer and John Klump back here at the United Kennel Club Hunting Retriever Club Grand Champion Hunt. Back to the water we go, where, as you can see, there is no shortage of obstacles, and the word is out. This is a tough course.
Well, rumors spread. We were running the corn test this morning and hearing rumors about this water test this afternoon, and all the rumors proved true. That blind retrieve where the bird is hidden and we don't know where it is, or the dog doesn't know where it is, rather, is a very difficult blind. It's about as tough as you're going to get anywhere. And it proved to be very tough.
Well, John Sinclair has to put his worries aside because right now he is competing with his black lab, Tilly, a 6-year-old.
And Tilly just went out for the blind retrieve. And as long as Tilly is in the water and can respond, she'll swim fairly straight toward the blind. Once she finds land, however, the natural tendency with this wind is going to be to drive her toward the land.
Naturally, the judges take that into account.
They do. And again, handling is preferred here. Once the dog gets off course, the judges expect the handler to handle the dog. Here's a good example. Tilly found land, started toward the land, now is being handled toward the blind, which is where the orange tape is behind her.
It's easy for us. We can see that orange tape.
That's correct. Tilly thinks she should go to land here. Watch the handler work with her to move her back toward the blind. Even though Tilly isn't sure, she takes every whistle and every command from her handler. She believes that the handler is going to put her where she needs to be.
It's got to be very frustrating for the dog at this point.
No, not at all. The dog will take every command from its handler and work until the bird is successfully picked up.
Which now occurs. How about that? Persistence pays off.
That's wonderful. Very hard, though, to know how the judges will judge this one.
I'm on the bubble. The judges could judge me either way, and if they fail me, I understand why, and if they pass me, I understand why. So I'm right there on the bubble. I hope, of course, that I'm still here tomorrow for tomorrow's last test, but it could go either way at this point.
All told, 15 out of the 19 dogs passed the water test, and we leave Rend Lake, the second largest lake in Illinois, and go to one of the hundreds of fields in the state. And watching closely is Laura Neens as her husband Daryl gets set to handle Angel. This is on the blind.
An angel is taken a straight line for almost 100 yards before having to be handled. Notice each time the dog is handled, the dog makes progress toward the blind. As it slips off to the right, it's given a handle by its handler until it's put right on the blind, retrieve, which is at the orange stake.
Very well executed, and appreciation from the wife. So Darrell hopefully passes this test just one step in a very tough process.
Getting this far is very rewarding to get to this fourth series. I mean, that's a real accomplishment. You have to have everything fall your way, no bad breaks. You know, and people say luck. Well, I guess luck is not having anything unlucky happen.
Okay.
You know, that the dog gets good, clean marks that they see, and that you see them yourself and you know where they are, and, you know, have all the good things happen your way, plus have a well-trained dog. And then, so to get this far with all of those pieces going together is a real accomplishment.
When last we left Jeff Hennard, he was very frustrated on the shores of Rend Lake, but now he's with another dog at another location and doing quite well with Millie.
And Millie marked...
It's form that touches our lives, and function that enlivens it. It's poetry that clutches the heart, and technology that makes it race. It's science that makes us see, and design that makes our eyes wide. It's the fusion of all these things. That is the power of and. The power of and. The fusion of design and technology. Cadillac.
Dr. Scholl's next stop, New Orleans.
So how do your feet feel?
That's pain. Well, this is our new Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insole. It's like a spring.
The massaging wave system gives you more cushioning than regular gel ever could before.
It relieves tension in your feet. It feels like it's massaging the foot.
Dr. Scholl's, treat yourself right.
PlanetOutdoors.com. Our search for the lost tribe of civilization, a people who live cut off from the outside world, has led us here to the island of Manhattan. Curious locals gather as the team ascends the slick tar-covered riverbank. An alpha male approaches bearing a primitive animal hide satchel. David demonstrates the advantages of a lightweight day pack. PlanetOutdoors.com. Get on, you're up, get out.
Kick off your college football Saturday with Fox Sports Net. Big games.
Touchdown, UCLA!
Big hits.
Oh, my goodness, what a hit!
Big-time coverage.
Into the end zone. Touchdown!
Hosts Kevin Frazier and Kellen Winslow cover all your gridiron action all day long.
Unbelievable catch!
With pregame previews, up-to-the-minute scores and highlights, plus post-game wrap-ups.
It's gonna be sweet.
College football Saturday. This Saturday only on Fox Sports Net.
This is it, Tim. 23 dogs are going to the final series. Out of those 23 dogs, 7 are going for the Grant Hunting Retriever Championship.
All right, we're getting set for the final test now. 188 dogs came to Rend Lake. The field has now been cut to 23. And as a coach once told me, Tim Gibson, many are called, few are chosen. The final 23, a smaller number will be attaining the level of grand champion. And what will they have to do out there? How does this differ from the tests we've seen?
Well, Tim, you notice I've got the orange vest and hat on. This is the 5th series of the Grand Hunt, the upland hunting test. We use these retrievers for, besides retrieving ducks and geese and dove, they are upland hunting dogs. They are flushing dogs. They'll enter the field here. They're required to do basically 2 or 3 things. The first part of this series will consist of 2 handlers, 2 dogs walking. The dogs will be presented a flush out of the tree line, simulating a bird that's flushing out, you know, in front of the gunner. The handlers will fire a shot at the dog. We call that the walk-up. The dogs will be on their feet moving forward. They'll have to be steady. They'll have to watch the bird. They'll have to pick that bird up. That's a clip-wing bird. It's a live bird, very enticing for the dogs. Once each dog has completed the walk-up portion of the test, the judges will turn the dogs down the field. They'll separate. There'll be 2 live gunners behind each dog. The handler will have a gun and a load in his dry shot popper load blank in his gun. The dogs will then be asked to start quartering the field.
That's what makes this test difficult, because the whole Grand has been a lot of control work. The dogs have been required to sit at heel, be steady, not go till they're sent. Now they've got to shift gears. They've got to put their mind in an upland hunting mode. They've got to get out there away from that handler and find game. There's several birds down the course, and these dogs will attempt to hunt the field and produce a flush. When that bird flushes, those dogs must be steady to wing and shot. The gunner's required to, or handler's required to shoot at the bird with his blank load. The gunners will shoot at the bird and kill the bird for the dog, hopefully. The dog cannot chase the bird, cannot move forward to the bird. The only movement allowed by the dog is if he needs to turn himself to reposition himself to watch the flight of the bird and watch it go down. Once that bird's on the ground, the judges will ask the handler to release the dog to complete the retrieve.
And our first tandem consists of handler Barry Lyons with Kangaroo Sally, no relation to Mustang Sally, and John Sinclair handling Tilly. And this, of course, this test most closely resembles a real hunt.
It really does. As the bird goes up, it's a wing clip. A dog is a real conservation tool, and a well-trained dog will help find wounded game so it doesn't get away to crawl off and die. These dogs have very gentle mouths and return the bird very, very gently to the handler. And as the dog brings it in and sits obediently, it'll deliver the bird to hand very gently to its handler undamaged.
All the while, the other dog sitting patiently and obediently, and you know that dog is tempted to go after some game as well.
Absolutely, but this dog has been trained to honor it. It must sit patiently while the other dog does its work.
Kangaroo Sally going after its first grand pass. Tilly already has one grand pass, and again, you need 2 grand titles to really have the title of grand champion.
And in this test, the dog has to walk at heel by its handler and be patient and be under control at all times.
They do not know when the bird will be flushed out.
Even the handler doesn't know, so it's a real-life hunting situation for both dog and handler.
Very deliberately executed. Now out on the field.
What we're seeing here are dogs quartering, using their noses, hunting cover, hunting all the terrain, looking for birds that are in the cover, very much like an upland hunt would be conducted.
The dog sits and waits for the command.
The rule is the dog must be steady to wing and shot and not go for the bird that comes down until sent by handler.
We may be looking at a dog that has just achieved the distinction of grand champion. Hunting retriever champion Star Havens Tilly with John Sinclair. Now we pick up Sally and Barry Lyons.
It's very important that the dog stay in close range of its handler. If it gets too far out in front, the birds will be flushed too far ahead. The dog has to hunt close to the handler so that it doesn't spook birds too far ahead. There's the flush. The dog sits. The shot's made. The dog is commanded to pick it up.
Bird or not, dogs must continue hunting until they're called in.
The dogs work in pairs all the way through the hunt. One honors, one flushes and retrieves, exactly the same as a real upland hunt.
A very successful conclusion to a very grueling week.
It builds all week. I mean, you come into it thinking, well, you know, will I be here day 2? You're here day 2, and then day 3 and day 4, and to make it this far is fantastic, and to get through this test is just the icing on the cake.
More grand championships to be awarded when we return.
If you're ready to lose weight, muscle up, and get back into shape, I've got a free video you're gonna love.
Introducing a winning fitness strategy.
You gotta eat healthy, drink plenty of water, and most importantly, strength train with Bowflex.
Strength training adds muscle. Not only does your shape look better, you actually increase your metabolism, so you end up burning more calories.
Strength training these days isn't just for men. It's great for women, too, and Bowflex is designed for both. It's even been called the best home gym by Fitness Magazine.
Use as little as 5 pounds to more than 400 pounds of resistance. Follow our 6-week fast fat loss program or create your own from over 60 different health club quality exercises.
Bowflex is easy to own, and it fits in any room in your house. It comes with a 6-week guarantee on results, and you can finance it with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Hey, I'm 41, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And I can tell you, Bowflex really does work.
For a free video and brochure on the machine that can help you get into great shape at any age, call right now.
Majestic waters and unforgettable fishing adventures. On Days of a Sportsman, host Trevor Gowdy invites you along for some great fishing and reminiscing with friends. Days of a Sportsman, Fridays at 9:30, only on the Outdoor Life Network.
These colors, they're dull, they're stained. They're perfect. What? For new dry Ultra Clorox 2. Who? Me. I get rid of tough stains and make colors bright. Even these colors?
Introducing new Dry Ultra Clorox 2. It does what Clorox bleach does on whites, but it's buffered to do it safely on colors.
Look at these colors. They're bold, they're bright, they're perfect. Down, girl.
New Dry Ultra Clorox 2 Color Safe Bleach. The Clorox bleach for colors.
Back here at the Wayne Fitzgerald State Park in Whittington, Illinois, the Hunting Retriever Club Grand Champion Hunt. Have another pair of dogs out there. The Chesapeake Bay Retriever is Zoe. And now getting set to go after is our Black Lab, River Rat with Bill Rat.
Look how steady the dogs are. Worked well together, both honored, both stayed until one was released to get the bird.
Brian Check, coming down from Canada, trying to become just the second handler ever and the first in 10 years to handle a Chesapeake to a grand title.
Again, look how gently the dog delivers the bird to its handler.
The ubiquitous camouflage has been replaced in this final test by the bright orange vests.
And the orange is very important because live rounds are being used, and to prevent handlers and gunners from making a mistake, orange identifies all the people in the field. Now watch the dog. It's winded a bird. It's using its nose to move in and make the flush. And there goes the bird. Now the bird's fallen out of the hunt area. So the dog has been stopped. It's steady to wing and shot, but now it's being brought back to heel by its handler. What the judges were judging is its ability to be steady to wing and shot. Making the retrieve was not a part to be tested.
So the intent was there, and the dog will, for all intents and purposes, pass the test.
The dog should pass the test. If it quarters now and finishes the test, goes back out to hunt.
Among the many impressive stories this week, this is certainly one of the most impressive. A Chesapeake Bay Retriever, halfway to becoming just the second ever of his breed to win a grand title.
They're sort of not a common dog as common as a Labrador Retriever, and they're sort of a little bit different kind of dog to train, where a lot of trainers don't like really to train a Chessie. They're just a little slower to mature, and sometimes you have to make them feel like they aren't being trained, and sort of that way. It's a communication thing. It's a little different.
Another great story we have been following all week long, that Black Lab, Raging Bull. The handler, Laura Neens from Georgetown, Texas. Laura trying to become the first amateur female handler ever to reach a grand title, alongside Ken Bernard and Country Mischief.
It's great to watch these two dogs work together. Look how they sat immediately when the bird went up. They're waiting for the command on which to retrieve.
And the tail wags on Raging Bull, but the obedience is there.
The obedience is definitely there.
You'll take about 2 steps forward, Laura.
Now the march will continue, and this time it will be Raging Bull's opportunity to try and catch that bird.
The handlers will change position so that, number one, the shot that goes up is safe, and number two, the dogs are in the best position to see the bird.
Not only is Laura here with her husband, Daryl, she has a whole fan club of friends alongside. They're watching very closely.
The dog is very excited, tails wagging, but very, very obedient.
bird about 20 yards directly in front.
Dog did a good job, was very obedient, sat on the flush, and immediately picked the bird up on command.
Okay, dog on the inside, I'll have you go past it.
Now to the hunt out in the field.
And again, the intensity of the dogs, their tails are wagging, they're out in front of their handlers, a safe distance, working the cover, looking for birds, each one working together, crossing back and forth.
There's the flush, the simulated shot by the handler, and the dog waits for the instruction.
It's a great shot of the dog sitting and being steady to wing and shot. In this case, the bird flew away from the hunt area, was not hit. The important thing is that the dog was steady and was waiting for the command.
Well, the remainder of the hunt is just elementary. It appears that Raging Bull has passed this test, and what a terrific story. Hunting is not exclusively dominated by males, but men make up the vast majority in this sport. And here comes Laura Neens, who is about to pass this test and become the first ever female amateur handler to win a grand championship.
Just all of the work that goes into it. To be among all these guys that I've learned everything from is really quite an honor.
Our final competitor, a good one, Barry Lyons, still to come as his wife Becky watches and waits.
Hi, I'm Pat Seashore, and I'm an engineer for Mercury. That's Scott, my husband.
She comes up to about here on me.
He is 6'1", and he's also very large. So he sits in a car a lot differently than I do. For the new 2000 Mercury Sable, we put adjustable foot pedals in the car. The pedals work by coming toward the driver 3 inches and down about a ½ an inch. I can sit further back, be more comfortable. Nowadays, we have a lot of freedom at Mercury to look for new ideas and make them happen.
There are two kinds of people in the world, paste people and gel people. Until recently, to get the 12-hour protection only Colgate Total provides, you had to be a paste person, which didn't make the gel people too happy. Well, now there's a gel, Colgate Total Fresh Stripe. The same 12-hour protection of Colgate Total that leaves your mouth feeling minty clean. So you gel people, quit your griping. Colgate Total, it's toothpaste, only better.
Just when you need it the most, your battery dies. You need Jump It portable power from Prestone. Jump It starts your car in seconds. You'll never be stranded with a dead battery again. Look, the heavy-duty construction is incredibly durable, and just one charge lasts for up to 30 jump starts. There's even a compartment to store the charger so you'll never lose it, and a built-in emergency light, too. Jump It works on cars, light trucks, boats, RVs, lawn tractors, ATVs, and more. So next time you forget to turn off your lights, if it's too tight for cables, when there's no one in sight, just jump it. And look at this. Jump It has a 12-volt power outlet built right in. Use your cell phone anytime, play your stereo anywhere, or run your electric cooler without draining your battery. Or use the Prestone power inverter and get the freedom of household current anywhere. Power your laptop wherever you are. Plug in a TV right in the car, or run a small appliance without long extension cords. It's like having your own mini power station. Call now and get Prestone Jump It portable power for 3 easy payments of $33. And the incredible Prestone power inverter is also available separately. But wait, there's more. You also get coupons for up to $40 worth of free Prestone products. Free antifreeze and coolant, free windshield washer fluid, free driveway heat ice melter, free tire jack inflator and sealer. All this absolutely free. Yours to keep as our gift. It's an incredible offer, so call now or visit www.prestonejumpit.com. Get answers to questions, product information, and discover all the power inverter uses. You can even order online. The incredible Jump It from Prestone. Don't wait till it's too late. Call now.
Have your credit card ready and call 1-800-966-7733 to order the original Prestone Jump It, the portable power source and battery jump starter all in one. Order now and receive as a special bonus coupons worth up to $40 of free Prestone products. Call 1-800-966-7733.
Do you have a video of yourself catching a perfect wave, climbing an amazing rock face, or doing anything exciting outside? Then call 877-OLN-ADVENTURE and enter the Outdoor Life Network Adventure Video Contest. You could win the adventure vacation of a lifetime or other great prize packages. Plus, we'll air the top 5 videos on our Adventure Video Special. So,
If you want to be on national TV and win some exciting prizes, send us your tape by January 31st, 2000.
Tim Singer and John Klump back here in Whittington, Illinois for the United Kennel Club Hunting Retriever Club Grand Champion Hunt. This is the final test, the final competitor, Barry Lyons. He's on the right with his lab, Della Riva, along with the Bi dog, a dog not actually in the competition. There's Della.
Again, very steady. The dog was very obedient, picks the bird up quickly, returns to the handler, and delivers very gently to hand.
Barry and his wife Becky came to Illinois with 13 dogs. That is not greed, that is handling talent.
The last one that we just got through, Sarah, she is our 20th grand champion, and she will be a third-generation grand champion off of our female bean that we just lost this month.
That's an incredible record. Safe to say that handling these dogs is your life.
Yeah, I guess so it is.
Tim, there are over 100 hunting retriever clubs across the United States and Canada.
And those interested in becoming part of this sport can contact the Hunting Retriever Club and the United Kennel Club in Kalamazoo, Michigan. The UKC, of course, involved in so many aspects of dog ownership and competition. Well, Barry Lyons looking like he is successfully on his way to garnering yet another Grand Championship title.
And what a great conclusion to the 99 Grand Hunt.
Barry Lyons may have bettered his wife at this year's Grand Hunt, but he'll tell you he couldn't have done it without her.
She'll critique me and let me know if I'm doing anything wrong, so I can, you know, an on-constant education what I'm doing in the field, where I know that if I need to do something different or something like that. So she's my eyes off the field.
I will ask you one thing I asked her after 20 or so grand champions that you guys have handled. Does it ever get old?
No, it never gets old. When you put this much work and demand this much perfection out of a dog and get a dog to the capability that we do, the 21st is just as sweet as the first one.
Barry Lyons headlines of this year's list of prestigious grand champions. Laura Neens makes history, and Jeff Hennard and John Sinclair, while passing the test, are still a few points short of the grand status. Well, in the voice of Barry Lyons himself, there is nothing sweeter than winning a title, nothing better than the passion of taking part in this sport. That's what dog ownership is all about. For John Klump, I'm Tim Singer. Thanks for joining us.